Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Simple Vector Knight tutorial. In this lesson, we'll learn how to create the armor pieces for our knight character. So the first thing that you'll want to do is you want to create a copy of your base character and put it to the side. So let's go ahead and highlight this, press Ctrl C and then Ctrl V, and let's go ahead and put it to the side of our document like so. So this is in case we need to ever go back to our base character again, if we wanted to do things like design new armor pieces or creating a new character. It gives us a good starting point for things like that. So with our base character safely copied, we can now begin to lay down the base colors for our character and for the armor pieces. So over here I've created a few colors to choose from that I think will work well for the design. And I created these colors using the shape tool, so the rectangle tool, and then just creating a square like that, and then choosing the colors like so. Cool. So let's start with the dark colors first. So using this color here, just use the eyedropper tool, so press I on the keyboard, or select this icon here. Let's click on the dark color, and I want to use this dark color for some pieces of the armor. So let's go ahead and select the shins here, and now press I on the keyboard and select the dark color like so, and that will automatically color in these shapes that I wanted. Now if your shapes are still grouped, so say for example these shapes are still grouped, or everything is still grouped, this will actually change the color for all of the shapes. Now we don't want that. If that's the case, just use the direct selection tool, and use the direct selection tool to select the pieces that you want first, and then press I on the keyboard and select the color like so. So the shortcut for the direct selection tool is A, and the shortcut for the eyedropper tool is I. So I'm just going to use that for all of these pieces. I'm just going to use that for the arms here. So let's press I and select the dark color. We can also select the pieces that have already been colored as well. Now I'm just going to select the helmet, and also select the dark color here. Cool. So I think that's all of the pieces that I want darkened. Now let's go ahead and select the next darkest color, which is this one here. So let's go ahead and select the thighs for that. Press I for the eyedropper tool and select the dark color. In fact, let's select this color here. So the third darkest color, and the same for the, in fact I think that's it for the thighs. And now let's go ahead and select the next color, which is the lightest color. Press I and select that color here. Cool. So that's all of the base colors for the armor selected and colored in. Next thing I want to do is create the actual armor pieces for our knight. So let's go ahead and create the shoulder pads first. So to do this, we're just going to create a ellipse. So use the ellipse tool here, and then just sort of create a rough long circular shape like so. And I'm going to color this in this color for now. And next I'm going to copy and paste, and I'm going to select the next darkest color, or the next lightest color, and then put that on top like so. In fact, let's zoom in here a little bit so you can see a little bit better. I'm just going to make this slightly smaller and slightly longer. So we can place one shape on top of the other. In fact, let's move this a little bit, or use the arrow keys to just move them a little bit incrementally, like so. And now I'm going to create another ellipse. So let's go ahead and copy this ellipse. And this time I'm going to choose the lightest color. So let's press using the eyedropper tool again. And then making this a little bit smaller, placing it on top here, like so. And lastly, I'm going to create one final ellipse tool, or one final ellipse, by copying and pasting this one here, placing it on top, and then with that ellipse selected, click on the eyedropper tool and select the white background. Just going to adjust the shape here like so, and this will act as our shoulder pad. So I'm just going to group all of these shapes here. Let's zoom out and move back to our knight. I'm just going to copy this shape, so Control C and then Control V to copy it. I'm just going to place it, whilst adjusting the shape, just above the shoulder, like so. Cool. And let's do the same for the other arm. So Control C, then Control V to paste. And again, right click, transform, reflect, and do the same for the shoulder. Cool. Now the same can be done for the knee pads. So I'm just going to paste that same shape, make it slightly smaller, and then move it to the knee pads like so. And then Control V, transform, reflect vertical to flip it, and then place it in the same place. Excellent. So now we've got the shoulder pads and the knee pads selected or placed down. Let's go ahead and create more armor pieces for our knight. So I'm just going to create some sort of arm guards here. So I'm just going to select the forearm, Control C, and then paste it, Control V. And I'm just going to make this slightly smaller. In fact, let's go ahead, and now you'll find sometimes with the rounded rectangle tool, you can't really make it smaller as such, but you can if you create another shape and place it close to it. Just a little trick here. You can now make it smaller if you combine it with another shape. So let's go ahead and do that. And if I use the direct selection tool and click on the shape again, you'll see these small circles pop up. If I move these small circles, it'll round the corners again. Just going to move this here. And I'm going to copy this. And again, using the same trick, I'm going to make this smaller. Make this a little bit longer. A little bit shorter. And I'm going to choose the light color, like so. So these are the arm guards. So just going to copy this. So group those, copy, paste, and let's go ahead and flip these. So reflect and paste and place them in the right place. And remember, you can also use the align tool here as well. So selecting both of those shapes, align them to the center. Same with the shoulder pads, aligning them, and same with the knee pads. Cool. So next we'll do the same for our thighs. So let's select the thigh shape, Control C, then Control V to paste it. And using the same trick, let's make this smaller. And let's choose the light color here and move this into place like so. Cool. Now you'll see now that this shape is above the knee pads. So select the knee pad, arrange, and then bring to front. Copy that. And let's transform this, so reflect. And we'll do the same thing. So right click on the knee pad, arrange, bring to front. Cool. Let's just align these. Excellent. So let's just zoom out. Cool. Now all that's left to do is the helmet. So let's go ahead and create a circle. Just going to create a small circle here. And let's color this in the second darkest color and move it to the center here. Just make it slightly bigger. And now I'm going to use the same sort of shapes here for parts of the visor. But before I do that, let's go ahead and create the visor. So create the ellipse tool. And let's go ahead and make a visor here like so. I'm just going to color this in the lightest color. Now using the direct selection tool, if we zoom in here, we can actually select the lowest anchor point and we can move the handles into the center just to create a nice point for our visor. Next, let's bring this shape back in. And in fact, I'm just going to copy this just in case we need to use that again. I'm just going to make this smaller, like so. Then just place it on the knight's helmet, like so. Just adjusting it as we go along. And we can remove parts of that. In fact, I'll bring that back in. I want to make that part a little bit darker. So let's go ahead and select that with our direct selection tool. Press V for our selection tool. I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger. And now press I on the keyboard. I'm just going to select the dark color like so. Cool. So just playing about with the visor. In fact, let's move this further down. Just going to move this here. And move this here. And copy, paste. Let's go ahead and reflect this. And move that into position as well. Cool. So now if we zoom out, we'll have the base armor for our knight character. Excellent. So that's it for this lesson. In the next video, we'll learn how to add the details to the armor design, such as the cape. See you all there.